Alright, the camera recording.
Don't play with it, don't be dishonest. Still not understanding.
Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. So today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys like a camera guide for YouTube and content creation, because I've noticed in the past 2 years, since 2021/2020, a lot of people have been getting into content creation. And when it comes to content creation, a lot of people want to up their content. So the first thing they usually ask is about cameras. So today's video is going to be like a camera guide for beginners, basically, because not everyone is tech savvy. Cameras you should buy, cameras you might want to buy, and cameras that like you should stay away from. I have my phone of cameras that right now are the best for YouTube content creation. But before we get into the video, please don't like, comment, share, and subscribe. And comment below how long you've been doing YouTube, because more than likely, if you click on this video, then you're most likely a content creator. So comment below how long you've been doing YouTube or content creation in general. I've been doing it for about since 2018, so about 6 years now. Yeah, that's a long time. So yeah. But without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, so I'm going to start off with the cheaper options, and then I'm going to move on to the expensive options, and then I'm going to move on to cameras, not cameras, but like things you should look out for in cameras. Alright, so let's get into it. So the cheaper options, the first thing in the cheaper option is honestly your phone. Literally your phone, or you can use someone else's phone, like your dad or your mom's phone, if they have a better camera quality. You can use the iPhone, Android's cameras now are more advanced, actually. Sometimes it's more advanced than iPhones. It's really not that deep. Just use whatever you have. You should start out, because let's say you start content creation and you don't like it, because then you can easily just quit. Also, your phone is way more easier to use than a camera, to be honest. It's less headaches, because cameras are good, but sometimes you have like a lot of just issues you have to deal with, and it's just annoying. So just start off with whatever you have right now. The second cheaper option you can get is the Canon SX730HS or the Canon SX740HS. So let me just explain the difference between both of these cameras, because they do sound very similar, which they kind of are very similar. The Canon SX730 doesn't have 4K quality, while the Canon SX740HS does have 4K quality. So you kind of have to choose your poison, which one you want to get. I would recommend the Canon SX740HS because of the 4K quality. But if you don't have the money, because the 740 is actually way more expensive than the 730, for obvious reasons, because it's 4K quality. That's up to you to decide, but I would recommend the 740. But if you don't have enough money to get it, just get the 730. Like, it's really not that deep, to be honest. Most YouTubers post their videos on 1080p. Oh, and if you guys don't know the difference between 4K quality and 1080p quality, basically 1080p is HD. 4K quality is like you can see every detail in 4K quality, whereas HD quality, you can. It really depends on your camera. Also, if you guys are wondering what camera I have the Sony ZV-1. Well, all the cameras I use for my content creation are in the description box down below, so check it out. The next camera you can get is the Sony ZV-1F. This one, there's a lot of controversy around this one, because I use the Sony ZV-1, which is actually the first version, and the ZV-1F is the second version, basically, like the continuation. But the ZV-1F is the cheaper version, so take that as you will. In my opinion, the Sony ZV-1 is better than the Sony ZV-1F, but I'm going to get into the Sony ZV-1 shortly. A lot of people say it's the Sony ZV-1F is cheaper, like the quality is cheaper and just watered down than the Sony ZV-1. In my opinion, I think that's true, because I have noticed some differences between some people who use the Sony ZV-1 versus some people who use the Sony ZV-1F. Both the Sony ZV-1 and the Sony ZV-1F, they both record in 4K quality. They both have a skin filter where it basically smooths out your skin. I'm using it right now. And honestly, both cameras, regardless if one is run down than the other one, they're both good cameras, and they record pretty crisp quality from what I've seen. So it's just one is better than the other, in my opinion. I don't want to get dragged, but people use Sony ZV-1F. The Sony ZV-1F is around $800, while this one is about 1K. So yeah, at least I buy it for 1K because I started in Canada. Both of the cameras both have a flip screen, but it's not the traditional flip screen that's up. It's actually on the side, which is annoying sometimes, because if you're in a tight space and you're trying to put your camera, you kind of have to like you have to close the, like, it's just like claustrophobic. honestly. But in my opinion, I haven't really dealt with a situation where like I was boxed in with my camera. Okay, so the next cheap option you can get is GoPros for vlogs. GoPros are good, but they're not a traditional camera. For example, they don't really have the blurry background like this one has. It's for vlogs if you want to go into water and just normal vlogs in general. The quality is good. It records in 4K. Most GoPros, if not all of them, records in 4K. Except for like the earlier GoPro releases. I have the GoPro 7 and the quality is pretty good. It just has some issues like overheating issues. Also, there's a lot of file corruptions, like sometimes it freezes your videos and like it's just a lot, honestly. But GoPros are really cheap if you get them secondhand. There's also GoPro alternatives because GoPros are very expensive if you want to buy them new. But for the GoPro alternatives, you can get the DJI Osmo and a Queso. So you can get those as alternatives if the GoPro is too expensive for you. So those are all of the cheap options I have. So now we're done with the cheap options, we're going to move on to the expensive options. Also, I just want to put like a little disclaimer before you buy the expensive options. Like, go in person to like a Best Buy or something to go look at the camera for yourself to see. Even for the cheaper options too, you should go into like a Best Buy or something, or somewhere where you can like be hands-on with it and see if you like it, because you just don't want to deal with something that you don't like a camera, especially a camera that you don't like, because it's just gonna bring a lot of stress to you and like just unnecessary like anxiety and stuff. So go into for both options of the camera, for the expensive options and for the cheaper options, but especially for the expensive options, because if you buy a camera you don't like especially if you buy secondhand or something and you don't like it, then there's no refunds for real. It's just a pro tip. If you do want to buy a camera secondhand, please do a full inspection check on the camera, from everything, from how it transfers. Learn how it transfers videos, not even with the cameras on here, just any camera in general, because cameras can take a time to learn how to operate them by yourself. So ask a lot of questions from the person, test it out, record a few bits and pieces, check the mic out if you like the mic, because a lot can be wrong with a camera and you wouldn't even know unless like you're like 2 months in. Watch walkthrough videos on YouTube about the camera. Just watch a lot of videos about the camera before you buy it, so you can know what is wrong and what isn't wrong. So just pro tip. But now we're going to move on. Sorry about the little rambling. I'm just like making sure that y'all don't get scammed. So now we're going to move on to the expensive camera options. So number one camera option that's expensive is of course the classic Canon G7X. The G7X is like the OG YouTuber camera. I don't really know a lot of people with Canon G7Xs anymore. People are not using the Sony ZV-1s, and just Sony cameras are like overruling now. Before it used to be Canon, now it's Sony. So kind of ironic how the tables have switched. The Canon G7X, it is a good camera, but it does have some flaws as well. For example, it doesn't have 4K quality. There's no mic jack on it. Also, like, in my opinion, it's just outdated because the camera came out in 2016. That's like almost 10 years now. Literally, it's been 8 years since that camera came out. So the quality is kind of outdated. It has some autofocus issues, especially the Mark III. But they do have flip out screens, the other type of flip out screen that flips up rather than to the side like this one has. They both have flash. That's the only thing that the Sony ZV-1 doesn't have, is a flash. So that's where the Canon G7X kind of beats the Sony ZV-1. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the next camera for the expensive options. So the next camera isn't really like all the cameras I've talked about. This one is a DSLR, which means it is bulky. So keep that in mind. It is the Canon M50. They also released the Canon M50 Mark II, but both of them have 4K cameras. It's a mini DSLR, so yes, it's bulky, but it's also mini enough to where it's like it's not really as convenient as like other DSLR cameras. This is the only unique thing about the Canon M50 that beats all the other cameras I've ever mentioned in this video, because it has changeable lenses. You can change your lens. You can buy a new lens and put a new lens in there, whereas these ones you kind of just have one lens, which, you know, if you damage this lens, then you're basically done. Whereas that one you can just get a new lens. But lenses are expensive. If you don't want that type of big responsibility, then just don't buy it. Also, if you don't like heavy cameras, it is a mini DSLR, but from what people have said, it just have some weight. I know for sure it definitely weighs a lot than this one right here, because this one, it's heavy. Like, that's why I don't really vlog on it, because it really just get like heavy. It just gets like, it just gets tiring to just hold like and vlog. I prefer sit down videos with this camera, but I'm still gonna use it to vlog regardless. So now we're going to move on to the next expensive camera option. The next camera option is the Sony ZV-1, which is what I have. I'm recording with it right now. So the Sony ZV-1 has 4K quality, but it does have a downside to it. It does overheat, and the battery life, especially if you're recording in 4K quality, is a nightmare to deal with, honestly. That's why I don't even shoot in 4K anymore, because I only have one battery. I used to have 2 batteries, but I lost the other one. I don't know where it is anymore. And like the batteries for this are literally expensive. Right now, it's hot, but not too hot, because if I was recording the same way I was right now in 4K quality, it would have been on fire. Honestly, I've been recording for like 22 minutes. It would have been on fire, literally on fire. It has no flash, so that's the only downer. But you can attach a flash, but you have to buy it separately. The flashes go for about like $30 or $20 on Amazon. But what I like about this is that you can attach things to the top, like a mic. You can just attach like accessories to it. So that's what I like about it. So probably in the future, a year now, I'm probably gonna get a mic for this, because yeah, this is gonna be my camera for like a while now. It is heavy, like I mentioned before. It is heavy, so I recommend you buy a tripod. I don't have a tripod because honestly I've just been losing my things, y'all. I lost my tripod, I lost my camera batteries. Like, I don't even know what's life anymore. So yeah, that's pretty much it for Sony ZV-1, but it's a pretty good camera. But another downside to this is that it doesn't have a wide range, like a wide camera range. The camera, it's not actually zoomed in. A lot of people think whenever I record with the camera it's zoomed in, but it's actually not. This is just how it is. Like, I'm literally zooming in. This is me zooming in. This is me zooming out. This is like how far it zooms out. The reason why it looks not zoomed out is because I'm literally standing back. But Sony recently released the Sony ZV-1 Mark II, and it has a wider camera range than this one. It also has cinematic mode. They both still shoot at 4K. All three of the Sony ZV-1 family, the Sony ZV-1F, the Sony ZV-1, the Sony ZV-1 Mark II, they all shoot in 4K quality. So that, you're good for that one. But my personal opinion, I just recommend you get the Sony ZV-1 or the Sony ZV-1F. You don't really need to get the Sony ZV-1 Mark II, because the Sony ZV-1 Mark II doesn't record in 4K quality 60 frames per second. It's essentially the same camera, just wider, like it has a wider range. So you don't really need to get the Sony ZV-1 II, because it's way more expensive than this one and the Sony ZV-1F. So choose between the Sony ZV-1F and the Sony ZV-1. And now we're going to move on to the last camera for the expensive options. So the last camera on this list is the Sony ZV-E10. The Sony ZV-E10 has 4K quality. It's similar to the Sony ZV-1 in terms of like how it's shaped, but the Sony ZV-E10 is way more heavier. It's really expensive too at that, like almost $2,000, at least where I live. It is like a professional camera, like it shoots like cinematic videos. So if that's like the type of videos that you like to create, cinematic videos, then go ahead and get it. But just like, it's just really expensive, you guys, like really expensive, and it's really heavy, so you can't just carry it to vlog. So I'm done with the expensive version. So now I'm just gonna like tell you guys some cameras you should avoid buying for videos. So the first camera you should avoid buying is those 4K quality cameras on TikTok, like the one that's like very popular on TikTok right now. Please do not buy those cameras. The mic is trash for one. The video, it's pretty much worse, probably even worse than your phone camera. You're honestly just wasting your money for $100 when you could literally get a GoPro for like $150. Just save yourself the money and just get you a GoPro or something. Like, they're not durable. Probably like a year from now they're probably not gonna be working anymore. And those cameras, like the ones people use for pictures, the ones, I'll put the picture on the screen. Please don't buy those cameras for videos, because it's just gonna be shaky. Just don't buy those cameras, because those cameras are specifically used for pictures and just like memory videos, like the ones you play on your family TV. Those are the type of cameras those are. So just watch out. Don't buy that and think that you're gonna use that to like, yeah, because most of them film crappy 1080p quality videos anyways. But if you want one, just buy one for pictures, and that's pretty much it. So that's pretty much the end of today's video. Comment below how long you've been a content creator, what camera, if you do have a camera, or whatever you're using to record your videos right now. I hope everyone who watches the video who wants to be a content creator or is a content creator, a blessed career, a blessed YouTube content creation experience, because honestly it's really hard out here, because especially as a small creator, because a lot of people have been getting into content creation, which is nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of space for everyone to eat and this content creation thing, it's just a lot of people recently have like came, so it's a lot more harder to blow up, especially if you're a small creator. So I wish everyone a good career. Hope your YouTube channels blow up. But just don't get discouraged and just keep going, y'all. Just keep going. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.